All right. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. And adjust that a little bit. Okay. All right, so let's begin. We can take our thumbs and tuck them into our fingers. We can let our hands rest on our thighs, and if you'd like to close your eyes, you can. And we'll just take a couple moments to just settle in, to arrive here together. And if you'd like, you're welcome to bring your awareness to the three treasures: the body and the alignment of the body, the breath and the movement of the breath, the mind and the focus and the quality of the mind. And if you're focusing on the body and the alignment of the body, it can be helpful to just tune in to the sensations, to the substance of the body. When we say Jing, that is one of the things that we're referring to, not just the body, but to the substantial stuff. Like if we're thinking in terms of solid, liquid, gas, the Jing is the solid stuff. So whether that's your weight, whether that's bones, the sensation of your clothes against your skin, just feeling into your substance and the quality of your substance. And as you settle into the sensations of your body, you may notice your breath and the movement of your breath. And if you'd like, you can breathe a little deeper just to feel where and how the breath moves in the body. And I always think it's a good idea to think about the backside of your body and the backside of your rib cage as you breathe, and just notice as you breathe in, do the ribs on the back of your body, especially the lower ribs on the back of the body, do they move at all when you breathe? And if they don't, see if you can just invite some breath into that area. Thank you. The backside of the body is where most of our lung tissue is. And so it's really an ideal place to breathe. And when we breathe into the backside of our body, it does quite a lot for the alignment of our structure. And so as you breathe and you notice where your breath moves and perhaps invite the breath into certain areas of your body, that can become the focus of your mind. And when we bring this focus of the mind, this quality that is often represented by light or by fire, when we bring that into the body, which is like a cauldron, this is the process of alchemy. It's what's referred to as ne dan, internal alchemy. And alchemy implies transformation. So when we bring the focus of our minds into our bodies and notice the state of things, the quality of things, how things are, and through that focus and awareness, invite change and transformation, that is the alchemical process. And as we consciously transform and adapt and develop, we're participating in the process of evolution. And so let's continue on with our process of transformation and development and evolution by bringing our hands together and generating some heat in our palms. Continuing to breathe, continuing to maintain an awareness of the body and the alignment of the body, maintaining an awareness of the mind and the focus of the mind. And when we're ready, we can take a nice deep breath in, shake it out. And then we can massage one hand with the other and, spend a little time with this, like working the thumb edge of the hand and the pinky edge of the hand and out the fingers, maybe even out each finger, and massaging around the palm and the backside of the palm. Maybe even like making fists and clenching and extending. It's a great way of working with the nervous systems, working with the hands. Sometimes we might feel like, oh, I wish I could just massage my brain. By massaging your hands, you can do that. or if we really just need a discharge, clenching, making a fist, extending the fingers, shaking the hands, that's a way of doing that. Like that. That's a discharge of the nervous system. And how many of us need that on a regular basis, all the time these days? We can rub the palms together. And another nice deep breath in. Shake it out. And again, rubbing them together. And maybe noticing your hands. Do they feel warmer than they did just like a minute ago? And then we can take our hands, let's massage our faces up and down or up and out. And then from here, let's just run our fingers over our scalps, front to back or back and forth, or scrubbing the whole scalp, finding any areas that feel tender or that feel good as you massage them. You can do this very lightly. You can use heavier pressure. You can try different things. Different areas of your head may like different things. Like one area may really like some heavy pressure, and an area right next to it might prefer it to be light. So again, just explore, try different stuff. If something doesn't feel good, try something else. Find what feels good. It's nice to know that we can do things that feel good. And that if we're doing something that doesn't feel good, it's nice to know that we can stop doing that. And as you're ready, your hands can slide down the back of your neck and around. And then a nice big breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together again, and maybe even a little massage to the hands again. Now let's do another face massage. We've done this before, but not recently, where we're going to tap our faces. It's very similar to EFT, the emotional freedom technique, if you're familiar with that, which is actually based off of the acupuncture meridians. So let's start. We can take our fingertips, usually the middle and the ring fingers, and you can start on the inner corners of your eyebrows, and you can just work out to the edge of the eyebrow and back and forth. And as you work along this edge, you might find a spot that's a little tender. If you do, you can give that spot some extra attention. And if you don't find a spot that's tender, that's okay. You can just move back and forth across this upper orbital socket or along the edge of your eyebrow. And again, just finding an amount of pressure that feels good, that feels sustainable. And then if you work out to the edge, the outer corner of your eye, and then in between the eye and the ear, there's a bone that we're working along the upper edge of, in between the outer edge of the eye and the front of the ear. And you can even work up and down in that area. There's a lot of areas right here that influence our jaws. So if you clench your jaw at night or have some jaw pain, this can be a nice area to work. And then you can move to the lower edge of that bone, the cheekbone, right into the big jaw muscle itself, and that might feel spicy or tender or good. And then from there, you can work along the lower edge of the cheekbone out to the space in between the nose and the upper teeth and the upper lip. You can work back and forth. And again, any spots that feel like they need some extra attention, you can hang out there. Give them some extra attention. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in our faces. Lots of muscles, lots of bony crevices, lots of attachments, lots of comings and goings. And then you can work back out to your jaw muscle and down to that lower corner of the jaw, and then follow the jawbone out so that you're in between the chin and the lower lip, and you can work back and forth along that edge. Just feeling what things feel like, giving your body what it needs, what it's asking for, what it's revealing to you. And then working back out to that lower corner of the jaw, and then you can move back so that you're behind that back corner of the jaw, kind of in between a space between the jaw and the lower part of the ear. It's an area where there's a lot of muscles that get tight, some deeper jaw muscles, as well as some lymph nodes and lymph glands. And then from there you can work down and maybe work along the neck. And here you can even stroke gently over the neck if you'd like, or if tapping feels good, tapping around the voice box and some of the big muscles in the neck. And then you can work back behind the ear and coming up behind the ear on your head and over the top of the ear, and then working your way back to where we began, over the eyebrows. And then from here, we can just kind of wipe our foreheads clean and down the sides of our face and jaws. And then let's take a big breath in and shake it out. Rub the palms together. Breathe and maybe shake your face out a little bit. If you need to, you can give your face another little rub. Just integrate some of that work that we did. Whew. That's the Qigong facelift. And then we can take our palms and let's make forward circles over our ears. And then another deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together and breathing. Feel free to adjust your hair if you need to. And then let's do our self-shoulder massage, beginning with the left arm up to the right shoulder, alternating side to side. And as your arm swings up, you can put some awareness, some intention, some focus into your hand and see if that changes how things feel. This point, this area of the shoulder that we're landing on with our hand, it is an acupuncture point. And this point is known as the master point of all of the sinew meridians in the body. The sinew meridians are the meridians that move us through the universe, move the universe through us. And these meridians, they can get congested, they can hold conditioning and habits and patterns that can keep us a little stuck. And it's interesting that most people will say, you know, this spot in my shoulders, it's where I hold a lot of my tension. We could just as easily say it's where we hold a lot of our conditioning. And when we're holding conditioning in the face of things that might not be appropriate for those conditioned patterns, that will create some tension. So we can massage this area, stimulate it in different ways, free up our sinew meridians, discharge some tension, some conditioning, and allow ourselves to be a little more free. So as you focus on your hand, as it swings up and lands on your shoulder, you might even bring in that intention of like, let me free myself from my habitual patterns that I've been conditioned to hold that don't always serve me. And how does that feel? Let's do one more on each side. And then a deep breath in. Shake it out. Rub the palms together, maybe even roll your shoulders a little bit, shake out some conditioning. It's what I like about Qigong, is like it's silly. We do silly things sometimes, which is good. And then let's open our chests. So right fingertips into a beak. Find the bottom of the left collarbone, follow it out into the big hollow space out by your shoulder. Bring your left fingertips into a beak, find the bottom of the right rib cage, follow it down into another hollow space, kind of right near the edge of the abdomen and the sides of the body. And then let's tap these two spots. Make small circles as you tap if you'd like, so that you can feel what things feel like. The lower point might be partially on your abdomen, partially on the rib cage. You can feel around. Feel where you feel the sensation. There are quote-unquote acupuncture point locations, but there's also living anatomy, which is not the same for everyone. Things are variable, things are fluid and alive, and so explore the terrain. And breathe and feel. And notice, do you feel the sensation as you're tapping these points right under your fingertips where you're tapping? Does the sensation travel somewhere? Does it travel to your back? Does it travel up or down or sideways? There's no way that it's supposed to be. There's just the way that it's showing up now. And so just notice that. Notice how it feels. Then you can massage these 2 points. Continue to breathe and to feel. And then let's change sides. So left fingertips under the right collarbone, sliding out into the hollow space. Right fingertips to the bottom of the left rib cage, following it down until you drop into another hollow space, and then tap. And explore, making small circles. You can tap lightly, you can tap vigorously. Just try different things. See what things feel like. See what you like. And if you find something that you like or that you don't like, you can even inquire, who is this that likes or doesn't like this thing? See if you can feel into the space in between these 2 points and breathe into the space in between these 2 points. Not just on the front of your chest where we're tapping, but all the way through, the sides, the back. What does it feel like to breathe into more of you? The body is Jing. Jing is potential. So what happens when we bring more breath, more qi into more potential? And then massage and breathe. And then a nice deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing. Let's bring our hands onto our lower rib cage, massaging the lower ribs and onto the belly. So we've got the ribs, we've got the abdomen, the belly. You can bring one hand over the chest while another hand stays over the belly. You can switch sides. You can do many different things. But the invitation as we do this is to acknowledge the organs inside of your body. To think about your heart and your lungs, and your spleen, and your pancreas, and your stomach, and your liver, and your gallbladder, and your large and small intestines, and your urinary bladder, and your kidneys, and your reproductive organs, and adrenal glands, and your mesentery, and your omentum, and all different kinds of stuff that is inside of you, that makes up who you are, that is helping you to metabolize life, to make meaning of things, to find values that determine choices, that help us to fulfill and execute a curriculum that we were born with, that was embedded, that is embedded in our DNA. It's a nice opportunity we have. So why not make the most of it, and why not take the time to thank and express gratitude for the aspects of ourselves that are continually doing that, helping us to fulfill those functions that we don't even think about, that we're not even necessarily aware of most of the time. Then we can bring our hands around our waist to the area of the low back and the kidneys, and that's an interesting thing, right? That we have these curriculums that we're fulfilling, that we're working our way through, even though most of the time we might not even be aware of it. But we could be more aware of it. Then you can draw the hands out, shake them out, rub the palms together and breathe. And let's massage our arms. So we can start with the left arm, tapping the fingertips up the outside, down the inside. And feel what this feels like as you do this movement, as you trace the meridians of your arm. What does it feel like? Does it feel good? Does it feel uncomfortable? Does it feel useless? Just notice. Notice your body. Notice the focus of your mind. Notice the movement of qi. Up one more time, and then down. Right fingertips tapping, and then up the outside, down the inside. And again, just feel. The different sides of our body can sometimes feel quite different from each other. What one side likes, the other side might not. And then up one more time and down. Deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together, and you can bring your feet out in front of you. If you're sitting in a chair, you can lean over to your feet, or if it feels better to just massage your knee joints, that is also totally fine. Just using your fingers and your thumbs to massage your feet or massage your knee joints, working into all of the nooks and crannies, feeling what things feel like. If you're massaging your feet, I find it nice to use your thumbs and follow the funnel on the bottom of your foot down to the deepest hollow and apply some pressure there. If you're massaging your knee joints, I find it's helpful to come around to the back side of the knee, using the middle fingers and the ring fingers and finding the deepest hollow in that spot and applying some pressure. And then when you're ready, your hands can come up the inside of the legs and around the hips, down the outside. Going with the flow. Feeling what this feels like. And then up one more time and around and down and out. Feet. Nice deep breath in and out. And rub the palms together. And we can tuck our thumbs back into our fingertips, resting the hands back on the thighs. And again, just take a moment. Tune into your body and the alignment of your body. Tune into your substance. Take a nice breath and notice how the breath moves into and through your body, noticing the movement of the qi. And noticing your mind and the focus and the quality of your mind. Noticing what your mind tends to be interested in. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Oh, I got a little warm doing that. Yeah, all right. Any questions about anything? Okay. All right, so today, what my plan is to, once we stand up, do a little bit of some warm-ups, and then I'd like to do a form which some of you may have encountered before. It's called the 8 pieces of brocade, or the 8 treasures, or Baduan Jin. Those are all different names for it. And if you were to do like a YouTube search of the 8 treasures, you'll see many, many different versions of the 8 treasures. This is kind of one of the the Qigong standards, I guess we could call it. And so there's a lot of different versions. And there's also, even though there's different versions of it, there's usually like a similar, they might be different, but they seem similar, So that's the form that we're going to do, and I just want to let you know the one we're going to do today is from, it's a version of the 8 treasures that I learned while I was at Wudang Mountain in China. And so it's a little bit different. And the order of the movements is even a little different. Like a lot of times when I see the 8 treasures, even if the forms are very different, they're usually in the same order. And this order is different. And I'm not sure why they do it that way in Wudang, out of a different order, but I also feel like it's kind of nice to switch things up. Like even when we were doing this, talking about like our conditioning and our habits, it's like we get used to doing things in a certain kind of way. And so I think it's nice to do things in a different way. Things that we're used to doing, maybe it's similar, but it's also different. And I think that's a nice opportunity to see like what comes up for us when we do something differently. It's like, well, this is not the right way. Like this is wrong, or this doesn't feel good, or are we resistant to it, or are we really open and excited about it? Like those are really nice things to look at. And this time of year, when we're thinking about the awakening of insects and seeds just starting to sprout and life starting to come back, this is, again, springtime. There's a lot of potential. This is the year of the wood dragon. The dragon is all about transformation. So this is a great time to really think about who we are and allow that to just disappear. Like, who are we? Like, what is that? Maybe we can be something different. Maybe we can lose who we are and find a new way of being, or transform who we are, or be a lot of different things simultaneously, like this swirling dragon up in the sky. Like, that's pretty exciting to think about, for me at least, and possibly for some of you as well. And so again, as we kind of do this form that may be familiar, but may be different, again, this is an opportunity to just check in to see how that feels as we do something different. And for those of you who are interested, 2 major cultivation centers in China. There's the Shaolin Temple of the north, and there's Wudang Mountain in the south. And Shaolin, maybe some of you are familiar with that. It's more of a Buddhist tradition. They have shaved heads. They wear saffron robes. They tend to do a lot of kung fu and martial arts, a lot of, like breaking bricks with their heads and things like that. And it's pretty amazing, like what that, like just really the things they can accomplish through cultivation. And then in the south is Wudang Mountain, and it's Taoist. They have very long hair. They tend to wear blue tops and black pants. And they do things that are less martial and a lot more like round and fluid, and while I was there, it's considered to be where Tai Chi was invented, which is interesting to think about, that like something like Tai Chi was invented at some point at a place, and this place is considered to be Wudang. And everything that I saw and everything that I was told about Tai Chi when I was there is that it's not so much a martial art or a self-defense, it's about cultivating an attitude. That was like their big thing, was like everything that we do is about cultivating a type of attitude, a way of being. And again, when we think about the movements as like an extension of a philosophy or an application of a philosophy, they're very slow and they're very round and very, very stilling. And part of that they talk about is because it's in the South, and the South is hot, and there's a risk of fire in the South. And so even the fact that they wear blue and black is because those are the colors related to the water element. And so everything they do is about invoking this quality of water into this place where could potentially be catastrophic fires. And so if they're kind of really attuned to the vibration of water, that helps to keep things still and calm and nourished amid all of this heat. So it's interesting to think about that. And so again, as we're kind of moving through this form, that's also just something to keep in mind. If you're feeling like this is a little slow, think about, it's about stilling the water. It's about going deep, and it's about getting very calm. The kind of mythological figure associated with Wudang Mountain is Jen Wu. And Jen Wu is like the true warrior that relates to the kidneys, that is exemplified by a turtle. And so again, turtle energy, water energy, like deep, slow, still, calm. That's the energy of Wudang, and that's the energy that comes through this version of the 8 treasures, where again, some versions of the 8 treasures you might find will be done by a Shaolin monk, because in Shaolin, that's where the 8 treasures was considered to be developed. And it was, the myth is that Bodhidharma, who is I think he was either the 24th or the 28th patriarch of Buddhism, of Mahayana Buddhism. He came from India to China and brought Buddhism to China, and and was, started the Shaolin Temple, and then all the monks were just in seated meditation for so long, and then he was like, you're getting all stiff and weak in your muscles, this is no good, so we need to do this movement form to help kind of keep you strong and allow you to be able to sit in meditation, but not get weak and stiff and sore joints. And so it's a very strong type of form, and you can build some muscles doing this form. And so some versions of the form that I've seen done from the Shaolin monks are beautiful and wonderful, and I encourage you to practice them, but different than the Wudang style, but very deep knee bends and really kind of like isometric strength poses. And it's great. And again, different. And so we're going to do the Wudang version today, which also has a little bit of some isometric strength training, but it's, again, just think water, turtles, round. that's what we're working with. All right. So any questions about that? Okay. And did I say his name was Bodhidharma, who came from India? Okay, great. Yeah. In China, I think they call him Damo. So there's that too. And there's fun stories about him that we can talk about at some point. All right, so when you're ready, we can stand up. All right. Okay. Can everyone see okay online? Sorry, I keep doing the Grover near and far type thing, but I just want to make sure you can see all of me. And if you can't, please feel free to unmute yourself and holler. All right. Great. So let's just take a moment in our new posture to just find our alignment. And as you find your alignment in the standing posture, I do invite you to lift your toes off of the ground, unlock your knees, really find the hard parts of the bottom of your feet, and really find the outside edge of your feet. And that might feel like you're trying to spread the floor apart in between your feet. Like you can really actively without moving the feet, really try to spread the floor apart. Feel these outer edges of your legs. Feel your feet root into those outer edges of the foot. You can do it strong, and then from there you can just kind of relax, let it go, so it's not as much of an efforting or as much of a pushing, but you found what you're looking for, and so now you can just kind of, keep it in your field of vision, so to speak, without necessarily having to grab onto it and keep hold of it. And then you can let your knees bend even a little bit deeper, and I would invite you to play with your hips, maybe shifting them back, maybe shifting them forward. But what we're looking for, especially as the hips come back just a little bit, is to feel the weight settling into the heels of the feet, to where your toes are lifted off the ground. You could even maybe one at a time, like lift the balls of your feet off of the ground without too much problem, without feeling unsteady or unbalanced, but just really letting the weight drop down through your heel bones, root into the outside edges of your feet, and then the ball of your big toe mound, it's just there. You can press it into the ground if you'd like, you can lift it off of the ground if you'd like, but you're really rooted through your feet and settled, and again, into the heels especially. When we settle into our heels, that sends a message to our nervous system that we don't need to run from anything. We're just standing here. We have no plan of going anywhere, because we don't have to. We can relax. We can calm that tendency to want to fight or fly, and we can just rest and relax and restore and regenerate and process and digest. Just settling into the heels tells our nervous system, tells our brains, that's what's going on, as opposed to our brain telling our body, be ready, be on the balls of your feet. We might need to run at any moment. We can reverse engineer that. Bring the weight into the heels, calm everything down. And feel that weight of the body, feel the substance, getting grounded, settling in. Allowing things to relax. As you relax, you might even feel like your stomach drops down, or you get some gurgling in your digestive system. Rest and digest. And then just doing a body scan from the feet up through the unlocked knees, into the hips and the pelvis, and if you want to kind of move them around, give them a little swivel, just kind of check out what things feel like, see if everything is moving smoothly, if there's areas that feel a little tender or sore, you can just make note of them. Again, as we calm down, the body has more of an opportunity to check in with itself. And if it finds places that are a little stiff, a little tight, a little inflamed, the body knows how to deal with those things. It knows how to make the medicine that's needed. It just needs some time to assess and some time to distribute the medicine. And that's what we're allowing as we do this. And so from the hips, we can rise up through the spine and into the lower rib cage, especially the back side of the lower rib cage, and maybe taking a deep breath to feel the back of our ribs just move a little bit, or if they don't seem to move as much, just making note of that and continually inviting the breath to move into that area of our body. Again, lower rib cage, lower lungs. When we breathe deep into the lower lungs, calming the nervous system, relaxing, letting the body know we don't need to bring a lot of air quickly in and out of the body by breathing into our upper chest because we're running. We can breathe long and slow and deep into our lower lungs because we're just chilling. We are programming our biocomputer. Yeah, this is like coding. Just standing, tuning in. Moving up through the ribs, noticing the shoulder blades, these big bones on the back of our body, and just noticing how they're floating on the back of the rib cage, if they're pulled very far forward, if they're retracted together very tightly, just see if you can breathe some space in between the shoulder blades and even in between the ribs and the shoulder blades as they rest on each other. The shoulder blades are quite literally floating on the back of the rib cage, just allowing space for that to happen. And then bringing some awareness around into the front of the body and the breastbone, and if the chest again feels rounded forward and contracted, seeing if you can lift that up a little bit. I find it sometimes helpful to just reach up and touch the collarbones. If it feels like the collarbones are slumped forward, see if you can lift your collarbones up. Get them as high as you can and allow them to spread out, creating a lot of space in the shoulders for the top of your arm bones to rest without rubbing against anything. Breathing wide through the chest, and then coming up through the neck into the back of the head, and thinking about from the back of the head, just reaching back and slightly up, lengthening the back of the neck. You might even feel a little stretch at the base of your neck. Maybe that stretch extends down in between your shoulder blades. Maybe that stretch goes all the way down to your tailbone or even to your heels. And thinking about this extension up into the sky and this rootedness down into the earth. And so we're connecting to the earth below, to the sky above. We become a conduit between heaven and earth. We become this manifestation of a relationship of yang and yin. That relationship is usually described as qi. Now we can begin the practice of the 8 treasures, Wudang version. So as we stand here and breathe, you can let your knees relax, unlock a little bit further, and as you inhale, roll your shoulders up and back, and exhale, the shoulders can come down, the knees can bend a little deeper, and let's do this several times, just moving with the breath, rolling the shoulders up and back and down as you exhale. And we're inviting almost like a nice full body undulation that can happen with the breath. Moving at your own pace, moving with your breath. One more time, we can inhale up and back. And exhale down, bending the knees. I'll mirror you. Let's step out a little wider to the left. And the hands can come together in Diamond Mudra. So one hand folded on top of the other, the knees are bent. Moving nice and easy. Let's inhale the hands up to the chest. And then exhale the hands out in front. Palms up. Inhale, the hands out to the sides. And then exhale, bring your hands palm up, close to your head. Inhale, press up. Stretch, you can look up. And then exhale, the hands come around. All the way down. And we repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Palms up, out in front, and then inhale around to the sides. Exhale, you can relax your knees as the hands come in. Inhale, press. Stretch. Exhale. This movement is called holding up the sky with both hands. Again, inhale, hands up to the heart. And then exhale, offering your heart. Inhale. Stretch and exhale, relax. Inhale. Exhale. Transitioning to the next movement, which starts just like this one did. Inhale the hands up to the chest. And then exhale, palms forward, hands out. Now, like you're grabbing hold of something in each hand, inhale back in. Hands to the sides of the waist, stretching the tendons. You can breathe here, you can exhale. Take another breath in. And I'll mirror you on your exhale. Take your right hand and send it out like you're pressing against pressure. So it's like an isometric, like you're pressing out, but you're pulling in. And then gather up. And as you pull this hand in, it's like you're working a pulley system now. So as one hand is pulling in, the other hand is getting pulled out. Like again, you're working a pulley, so there's some isometric strength training going on here. And as the hand gets all the way out, then you can relax. Open the hand, gather up. Like you're grabbing hold of a rope, you've got the other rope in this hand that's by your hip, and then pull. Just breathe as you need. Build some strength. Stretch. And relax. Open the palm. Grab hold. And again, work the pulley system. Take your time. This is a moving meditation. So how much can you keep track of all the different things that are going on that are making this movement happen? And then relax, open the hand. And this time we can just pull this hand back in. And then let it go. Sweep the arms out and up. Step the feet a little closer together, but not too close together. Now we'll stretch the spleen and the stomach meridian. So again, like a moving meditation, I'll mirror you. The palms are both facing up at the level of the hips, and we'll start with your right hand. And we're going to send the right hand up, and as it comes upwards, turning slightly towards your left. Palm up overhead, and then the lower palm presses down behind us and stretch. And then relax, the upper hand comes down, coming down through the center of the body, and as it gets low, now the other hand starts its rise up. The upper palm is facing up, the lower palm is facing down. There's a gentle turn, you don't have to twist too deeply. Reaching up through the upper palm, reaching down through the lower palm, you can take a breath in. And as you exhale, the upper hand floats down. Take your time, letting everything just sink and descend as the other hand comes across and it begins its rise, and just working to harmonize the rising of the body with the gentle turning of the torso, pressing the palms away from each other, reaching up and then inhaling. And exhale. Taking your time. Reaching the other hand up, palm up, The lower hand, palm is down. Inhaling as you stretch, gentle rotation. And relax. We'll do one more on each side. Inhaling. Exhale. And one more time, stretching all the way up. And exhale. The hands can come down, palm up on either side of the waist. And then we can spread our stance just a little bit wider. The next movement, dropping the head, wagging the tail. So the hands can come on top of the thighs, down to just above the knees. And as the hands come down, let the hips move back, as opposed to just tilting the whole body forward. We don't want the weight pouring through the balls of the feet. We want the hips moving back. Weight is more in the heels. We can lift our toes off the ground if we need to. And then from here, I'll face away from you. So the name of the movement, drop the head, wag the tail. So from here, send your hips further back, drop your head. And then let your upper body roll towards the left. Roll the shoulder up, press through that left leg to come up. And then turning towards the right, send the hips back so that the body comes down. And then swinging towards the right, rolling the shoulder to rise up, press through the right leg to come up, turning towards the left and then down. So we go both directions. So swinging back to the left, roll yourself up, use your leg to press yourself up. Gentle rotation to the right, send the hip back to come down. And then swinging to the right, upper shoulder rolls up, press through your right leg to come up, rotation to the left and down. Again, to the left, rolling up, strong leg, and drop the head, wag the tail. Back to the right, rolling up, strong leg presses you up, rotate and down. Come to center, press through your legs to come up, and then gather the arms up, step the feet a little closer together, but not too close, and then the hands come down. And let's take a moment, we can just catch our breaths here. If you need to shake it off a little bit, you can. One of my teachers likes to say, if it's not challenging, it's not alchemy, it's not transformation. Change is inevitable, transformation is a choice. It's work. In Wudang, they have all these different places, all these different little cultivation centers, and they all have these different stories to them. There's one place called the Needle Grinding Well, and it's a well, and the story is that Jin Wu, the true warrior who was cultivating at Wudang, he was up in the mountain, he was doing his cultivation, he felt like he wasn't making any progress, and he's like, I don't like this anymore, I'm going home. And so he's walking down the mountain, and he comes across this person sitting at a well, this woman who was one of the Taoist immortals who manifested to make sure that Jin Wu was doing his cultivation. And she's sitting at the well with this giant brick of iron, and she's filing it with a little file. And Jin Wu says, well, what are you doing? And she says, I'm making a needle. And he's like, you're making a needle out of a giant brick of iron? And she's like, yeah, it might take a while, but I just need to work at it. And so then that Tijin Wu was his moment of, clarity where he was like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to be easy. I probably will need to work at it for a while. So then he went back up the mountain. So, it's not supposed to be easy. Next movement. Inhale the hands up to the chest. Exhale and offer your heart. Inhale the hands out. This time, exhale, the hands go down. The palms can face down on either side of the legs. The knees are bent. We're kind of looking towards the ground, a little stretch to the back of the neck. As you inhale, press through your legs, stand up straight, turn your palms forward, and then turn your palms upward out to the sides. And we're not trying to squeeze our shoulder blades together. What we're really trying to do is rotate the arm in the shoulder socket. So turn the palms up. The thumbs are almost reaching towards the floor at the bottom. As you got a nice stretch in your shoulders, look over your left shoulder. Keep your neck nice and long. And then exhale, bring your gaze back to front. The palms can turn down. The hands can come down and our gaze can return to the floor. And then press through your heels, inhaling as the palms turn forward, and then up, thumbs reaching towards the ground, and you can look over your right shoulder. Stretch, and then relax. Exhale, the knees can soften, gaze comes forward, palms turns down, and you're looking down. And again, inhale, up, palms forward, and then up. Stretch your shoulder, look over your shoulder. And down. Other side, we inhale, turning the palms up, not squeezing the shoulder blades together, but really rotating the shoulder joint. And relax. Breathe naturally as you need. One more on each side. Inhaling, coming up, palms forward, and then up, looking over the shoulder, stretch. Inhale, palms up, turn your thumbs towards the ground almost, look over your shoulder. Then you can inhale the arms out and up. And exhale the hands down the front of the body. And your hands can rest on your belly. Tune into your lower dantian, tune into this watery source within your body, like a deep ocean of qi. The name of the point just beneath the belly button is called Qi Hai, a sea of qi. And from this deep watery reservoir, the hands can move up over the chest, over the face and head, down the back of the neck and around. The palms can come together. Press the thumbs against your sternum as you draw the hands down the sternum and then massaging over the lower ribs, coming around to the lower back, and you can massage down the lower back. Send your hips back so the hands can start to slide down the back of the legs. You can bend your knees. I would actually recommend that you bend your knees as much as you need to so that your hands can slide down the legs to the floor, over the feet, and then pressing into your shin bones, lifting through the back of your skull to rise yourself up. Your skull and your hips are reaching away from each other to draw the hands up and returning to the lower dantian. So this movement is called replenishing the taxations. So we're massaging, we're nourishing our whole body. The hands move up over the chest, over the face. We're nourishing our sense organs, our mouth and nose and eyes and ears. We're nourishing our brains, our necks, massaging the necks, clearing out all the pains in the neck. Thumbs pressing into the sternum, tuning into our lungs and our hearts. Hands over the lower rib cage, over the liver and the gallbladder, the spleen, stomach, and pancreas, around to the back to the area of the kidneys, the adrenal glands, sending the hips back and massaging the legs. And again, the knees can bend as much as they need. Checking in with our feet, pressing into the shin bones with our hands, hips and back of the head reaching away from each other. And it's that tension that helps to lift us up. Nourishing our thighs. And then one more time from the lower dantian, this ocean of qi, we can help these fluids, this nourishing water, to rise, bring moisture to our throats, to our mouths, our noses, our eyes, our ears, and our brains. Nourishing and relaxing our necks and shoulders. Soothing and calming our lungs and our hearts, our internal organs, our digestive organs, spleen, stomach, pancreas, liver, gallbladder, our kidneys, our root organs, sending the hips back. Nice massage to the legs, over the top of the feet. Press into your shins, hips reaching back, back of the head being pulled up by a string attached to the North Star. Hands coming up to the lower dantian, and then we can relax. Next movement, the archer draws the bow. So we've got a nice bend in our knees. We really want to be rooted into the outside edges of our feet. And I'll mirror you. So the right hand is going to sweep out to the side. You can follow your hand with your weight if you'd like, and then swing it out in front, across to the other side. Your left hand comes up the side of your body to your chest, and as you, with your right hand, draw the bow back, the left hand extends out, with the index finger and the thumb extended, and you can reach the elbow and the hand away from each other, and then relax. The knees can soften, the right hand can come down, and then the left arm sweeps around. The right arm rises up the side of the body to the chest. The left arm grabs the bow. Pull the bowstring back as the right arm extends. Index finger and thumb extended. Reaching the elbow and the hand in opposite directions. Stretch. And then relax. Left hand floats down. Right hand sweeps across. The left hand rises up to the chest. You can straighten your body up and then draw the bowstring. Extend the arrow. Relax. Right hand comes down to the hip. Left hand sweeps around in front. Right hand rises up to the chest and then draw the bowstring back. Extend the arrow. Stretch. Relax. The bowstring hand comes down. The arrow sweeps across. Yeah. And then the lower hand comes up to the chest. We straighten the body. Draw the bowstring back, extend the arrow. Bowstring comes down. Arrow sweeps across. Last time. Lower hand comes up to the chest, drawing back and extending the arrow. Stretch. Relax. Arrow hand comes out in front and then back into the hips. You can relax. Inhale, gather the arms out and up, step the feet a little closer together, but not too close. Exhaling the hands down. Last movement. Inhaling the hands up to the chest. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale. Exhale, the hands come in, and this time, placing the hands over the ears. If you want to just place your fingertips on the side of your head so you can hear me. But we are going to press the hands over our ears. And as we're holding the hands over the ears, what we're going to do is inhale off the heels, and then exhale, drop on the heels. You want to make sure that your knees are unlocked. When you're pressing the hands against your ears, when you drop, you'll hear a big boom, like a drum. And we're going to do this 7 times. So let's inhale. And again. Relaxed knees. You don't have to come up too high. Take an inhale and a gentle turn to your left. Exhale. Inhale, a gentle turn to your right. Exhale. And then the hands can come down. Inhale the arms out and up, step the feet a little closer together. And exhale the hands down the front of the body. Into Diamond Mudra. And then from here, inhale, roll your shoulders up. The hands can separate as the shoulders move back and down. And then stand and relax. Just allow yourself to drift. And then we can rub our hands together. Massage the face up and down. Back and forth over the top of the head. Down the back of the neck and around. Over the chest, lower ribs and belly. Around the waist to the lower back. Draw the hands out. Shake them out. You can shake out your whole body if you like. We'll pat up one arm, down the front, up the other arm, and down. And then around and down the back side of the body, up the front, and again around and down, and up. We can just Again, shake a little bit. If shaking the whole body doesn't feel good, you can just shake your hands or shake your feet. Discharge the nervous system. And then let's do 3 sighs of relief. So big breath in. Again. One more time, let's end it with a blither. Taking a couple of deep breaths, recognizing that you are within the universe, and the universe is within you. And there is an exchange. There is a relationship. There is a qi. Good. All right. Any questions about any of those movements?
I'd be curious next time to have you explain a little bit where the weight is as we're going through each of those.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned it, but I wasn't sure what.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that again and kind of definitely break down more of like the weight shift. Yeah. Yes.
Is there a regular right and left, like when you begin in Qigong? Or do you always begin on one side?
So more often than not, most Qigong movements will begin with the left side. Or like for instance, when we drew the bow, you know, even though it's our right hand, we're coming around to the left. You know, and so it's typically the left side. The reason why that is because, you know, when we're alive and we're practicing Qigong, we're typically facing south. We're orienting ourselves towards the sun. And if we're facing south, then to our left, that's the east, which means the sun is going to rise on the left, which means that's the yang side. So that's the side that we begin things. So that's the thinking behind that. Yeah. If we're doing forms that relate to like before we were born, prenatal energetics is what they're called, we would be imagining ourselves as babies. And in babies in the womb, our head is facing down because that's how babies are born, head first, which means that we're oriented to the North Star. So that means that the yang would then be on the right side. So there'll be forms that begin with that. So that's a little bit of a code where if you're doing a form, if they begin on the left, it's postnatal energetics. You're dealing with like life vitality, like day-to-day living. If you're starting on the right side, it's more prenatal energetics. It's like you're going back into the DNA to like transform things from before you were born, which is kind of interesting.
When do we start with that?
Yeah, that's the Neidan practice. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Are there forms that nourish yin?
Yeah, so this is a very yin nourishing form. And one way to think about it, so that's a great question. You know, when we think about qi and qi cultivation, in the context of the 3 treasures, qi is breath. And so if you want to conserve your qi, if you want to regulate your qi, you slow down your breathing. You regulate your breathing. And then what you're doing is you're conserving qi. And when you conserve and slow down and regulate the qi utilization, it's less yang, which then allows the yin to accumulate. Yeah. All right. There is a method to the madness. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Let me know if you'd like a recording of this form, of this practice, and we may keep going with it. We might do it again next week along with some other stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is one you can learn. All right. And thanks everyone for being here online. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.